Hi, welcome to another edition of Inside Winnipeg Politics. I'm Kevin Klein, joined by two Winnipeg Sun columnists, Jeff Currier and Royce Koop, who is also a professor of political science at the University of Manitoba. And I want to start this episode off with our favorite topic, the boy wonder, who never seems to hear what's going on around him. And that's kind of a superpower to be able to block out all the nonsense that seems to be going on around you. And that's Justin Trudeau, our Prime Minister. We keep hearing more and more people coming out saying it's time for Justin to go. He's in his last days. There's rumors he's going to quit at any moment. But really, are we seeing any movement at all, Royce?
Yeah, I think the biggest movement that we've seen in really in the last week or two is movement in his caucus. We've now seen the regional caucuses in Ontario and Atlantic Canada, and I'm pretty sure also Quebec. They've expressed a lack of confidence in Trudeau. They've asked for him to step down. And so when your caucus is moving against you in that way, that's a tough thing to fight against. We've heard a lot of rumblings, a lot of kind of simmering in the caucus, and people are upset with him. But to have this many MPs explicitly moving against him, it's going to make hanging on hard, not impossible, but it'll make it much harder moving forward for him.
Now, Kevin, if one or two MPs speak out against the leader with the strong leader model that we have in party politics in Canada, you can always boot them out of the caucus. When you've got whole regional caucuses talking like that, it's now impossible for those MPs to reverse that position down the road. They've staked out their position, and so their position is that the prime minister has to step down or call an election, or one or the other or both, but at least step down. And for some reason or other, he seems, at least on the surface, to be completely oblivious to these calls.
Well, he does seem oblivious to that. But however, I look at it from this perspective. If you're a member of the Liberal caucus, yes, you can call for him to step down. I don't think they're calling for him to call the election right away because a lot of them have pensions on the line. And I think we all know that they don't want an election because I believe they have the power. I think they have two opportunities to bring him down if they want. Number one, they can vote down any piece of legislation and bring themselves down as a government. I don't see them doing that because that means money out of their pocket, and money rules all, apparently, on the Hill. Second is they could call for a leadership review right now, and they could kick him out of the party. And I believe I'm right on both those counts, Royce.
Yeah, I agree. The last thing these Liberal MPs want is an election right now. We could be looking at a 1993 blowout. The Liberal Party could be wiped off the map if they went to an election with the poll numbers the way they are right now. And we even saw this yesterday. Yesterday, the Liberal MP Ben Carr from here in Winnipeg put out a letter saying that he no longer supported Trudeau as leader. But to when he was going to explain why that was the case, it wasn't that, it's bad for Canadians, we're not helping Canadians enough. It was that he was afraid he was going to be defeated by the Conservative candidate in his seat, which is a kind of a jaw-dropping thing. I guess it's an honest thing for a politician to say, but that's what a lot of Liberal MPs are thinking. The last thing they want is an election. These people want to replace Trudeau with a leader that they think can help them out, but going to an election now, it's just as frightening for them as it is for these NDP MPs right now.
Well, it is a little self-serving on the part of Ben Carr, right? To put his own self-interests ahead of those of his constituents, the party, and the country. And but again, Mr. Trudeau just seems completely out of tune with the sentiment, not just within his party, but right coast to coast to coast in this country. Every indication is that the overwhelming majority of Canadians think that his time is up. It's time for him to make a graceful exit. And unfortunately, this is not a graceful exit. It's going to be nasty. It is messy, and it's going to damage the Liberal Party brand for some time into at least the short and medium term, because nobody wants to support a party that appears to be in internal turmoil.
Well, we know all this. We have all talked about it before, but just before the new year, both of you made a prediction. And I want to see if your predictions still hold because a lot changes in politics over the last few days. We had a prime minister cutting the line at a ski hill and being, yelled at by various different people and being caught on video, and it doesn't seem to bother him at all. He'd be a fantastic hockey referee because he could just skate up and down and get booed and it wouldn't matter at
Yeah.
all. And as a hockey referee, I can tell you that takes skill. But has all of this now, like all of the MPs coming out, and you see the polls getting worse and worse and worse, has it changed your mind? For example, Royce, you thought that Trudeau would actually lead the Liberal Party into the next election in October. Has this changed your mind?
Oh, it's getting harder and harder for him to hang on. The changes in the caucus it'll be tough. I think he can do it. We're not really getting any signs that he's fighting back, really. You don't hear any rumors of him working the phones, trying to build support. He can hold on. I think I'm definitely not as strong in that prediction as I was a few weeks ago. But one thing I think for sure is this: everyone seems to think we're getting an early election. I think that's very unlikely. There's Liberal MPs, NDP MPs, that they don't want an election. They'll figure out a way to avoid it. Yeah, I don't think we've got a winter election coming in Canada.
Well, and if that's the case, then he could conceivably hang on until that fixed election date, or the so-called fixed election date, come October. If the government doesn't fall sooner than that, then it's possible he could hang on until then. And of course, 8, 9, 10 months, a whole lot can change in Canadian politics. Remember when Justin Trudeau was running the first time to be prime minister, his party was a distant third. At the time, it looked as though the NDP might become the official opposition. That's how badly damaged the Liberal Party was. In the last few weeks prior to that election, his fortunes skyrocketed. He became, moved in, took over government, and has been there for 9 years. And so a whole lot of things can change in 8, 9, 10 months in Canadian politics.
Well, I hope you're both wrong. I really do. I think you both make a lot of sense, but I do hope you're both wrong. I want to pretend that Justin Trudeau will do the right thing for Canadians. I think the country is very divided. They're very upset with him. There's not a lot of hope in the country right now. We're going to be facing all kinds of American tariffs, quite possibly, and challenges on the international stage. We're going to be the president of the G7 this year. I don't see him being the person to lead that right now. I'll be quite honest, because of things that have happened in the past. So I hope you're both wrong, but I'm launching Trudeau Watch officially. On a daily basis, I get up every morning now and I look and I scour the internet trying to find somewhere some kind of a hint that he's about to hand in his resignation paper, and I'd like to be the very first one there to open the door.